Have you ever caught yourself scrolling through social media or walking into a room full of peers and suddenly feeling like you don't measure up? Perhaps you see a friend who just got a big promotion, a family member buying a new house, or an acquaintance traveling the world. In those moments, a small voice inside might whisper, "They're doing so much better than me." But what if I told you that this habit of comparing yourself to others is not only unfair to you, but also a recipe for frustration and lost motivation? Today, I want to talk about why we need to stop measuring our worth against anyone else, and how doing so will set us free to become our best selves. Don't compare yourself to others. Instead, focus on your own path. Take responsibility for your growth and discover the power of measuring progress against the person you were yesterday. Why comparing is a trap. Comparison is a natural impulse. We're social creatures and we constantly observe those around us. But often when you compare yourself to someone else, you're comparing your behind the scenes to their highlight reel. You see the polished outside of another person's life, the awards, the happy photos, the achievements. But you know all the messy inside of your own life, your doubts, mistakes, and struggles. It's an unfair comparison from the start. It's like comparing the bloopers of your movie to the edited final cut of someone else's movie. No wonder our own lives can feel lacking when we do that. Think about this. When you compare yourself to others, do you actually gain anything? If your colleague is ahead in their career, does imagining yourself in their shoes improve your situation? When a neighbor has something you desire, a car, a relationship, an accolade, does fixating on their success bring you any closer to yours? The truth is, constant comparison only steals your joy and confidence. It can turn inspiration into envy and motivation into despair. Instead of celebrating what you have and how far you've come, you end up feeling miserable about what you don't have. It's been said that envy is a thief of joy, and indeed, when we let envy take over, we kill our own happiness. Consider a simple analogy. Imagine you're running a race on a track. You have trained for weeks to improve your personal time. Now, during the run, you keep looking to the lane next to you to see how fast someone else is going. They might be ahead of you, and you start feeling discouraged. Why are they faster? I must be doing poorly. But you don't know their story. Maybe they've been training for years. Or maybe they're only sprinting a short distance while you're running a marathon. By focusing on them, you lose focus on your own stride and rhythm. You might even slow down or stumble because you're not paying attention to your own race. Doesn't that seem silly? In life, just like on a track, constantly looking over your shoulder at someone else's progress will only trip you up on your own journey. We also tend to compare ourselves to those in a similar age group, profession, or social circle. Essentially, people on a track next to ours. If a classmate or co-worker achieves something great, it hits close to home because it feels like that could have been me. It's tempting then to let bitterness creep in. But here's a question. What do we really know about their journey? Perhaps that classmate who got the high-paying job is actually struggling in other ways. Maybe their personal life is in shambles, or they battle anxiety every day. The co-worker who earned a promotion might have quietly worked late every night or faced failures you never saw. Everyone's life has hardships and complexities that aren't obvious from the outside. If you wouldn't trade all of your unknown struggles for all of theirs, there's little sense in trading your whole life path with theirs in your mind. Focus on what you can control, your own path. So how do we break free from the comparison trap? The answer lies in an idea that philosophers taught thousands of years ago, and which remains just as true today. Focus on what you can control and let go of what you can't. You cannot control what family you were born into, what talent someone else has, or the timing of opportunities that come their way. You cannot control the successes or failures of your friends, neighbors, or rivals. But you can control your own efforts, your own attitude, and the choices you make right now. The Stoic philosophers of ancient times were very clear on this. They observed that life throws different challenges at each of us, but ultimately the only territory we truly command is our own mind, our own actions. Your energy is better spent cultivating your own garden rather than peering over the fence at someone else's. After all, if a gardener spends all his time comparing his garden to the neighbor's, his plants will wither from neglect. Meanwhile, the neighbor who waters and tends her garden diligently will see it bloom. In the same way, if you invest your energy into improving yourself, your skills, your character, your health, your knowledge, your life will start to flourish. If you waste that energy in envy, nothing in your life changes for the better. Think about a difficult situation, like studying for an exam or working on a big project. You might feel disheartened knowing a friend breezed through it with ease. But their ease doesn't change your challenge. What can change the outcome for you is focusing on your own study strategy, asking for help, and putting in the work. You control how much effort you put in, how you manage your stress, and whether you persevere. By channeling your energy into what is within your control, you not only perform better, but you also feel more empowered. You shift from victim of circumstance, I'm worse because they're better, to master of your own fate, I will do the best with what I have. This shift in mindset is liberating. It replaces anxiety with action and resentment with resolve. The only person you should compare to. Let's return to the idea of running your own race. If you truly have to compare yourself to someone, compare yourself to the person you were yesterday. In other words, make your own past self the benchmark for progress. This idea has been echoed by modern psychologists and thinkers because it's profoundly helpful. The only fair comparison is between you today and you yesterday. Why? Because those are the only two people in the world with the same starting point and circumstances, you. Ask yourself, am I a little bit wiser, a little bit more patient, a little bit more knowledgeable than I was a year ago? If the answer is yes, that's a victory to celebrate. And if the answer is no, that's okay. You've identified an area to work on. Either way, the comparison is constructive. It guides you to improve without the toxic feelings of envy. Measuring your progress against your own past self is the only measurement that matters. It's exactly how we should define success, becoming a better version of ourselves over time. Imagine a person who decides to take up painting. At first, their paintings are rudimentary and they might feel discouraged when seeing masterpieces in a gallery or online. If they keep comparing their beginner art to a famous artist's work, they might think, why even bother? I'll never be that good. But if instead they compare their latest painting to the one they did 6 months ago, they might notice real improvement, better technique, more confidence with color, a clearer vision. That progress, however modest, is real and meaningful. It came from their own effort and growth. It's a fair and motivating comparison. Maybe they're not Picasso yet, but they are certainly better than their past self, and that is an achievement to be proud of. By consistently focusing on being better than you were before, you gradually build confidence and competence. Each small improvement, reading a few more pages of a book instead of comparing test scores, saving a little money instead of coveting a neighbor's car, choosing to exercise instead of envying someone else's physique, each of these steps makes you better. Over time, those small wins compound into major changes. You may suddenly realize one day that you've come farther than you ever thought possible. Not because you tried to outdo someone else, but because you tried to outdo your former self. Embrace responsibility and find meaning in growth. Another powerful aspect of not comparing yourself to others is that it forces you to take responsibility for your own life. It's easier, in a way, to blame our unhappiness on someone else's success. If only I had what they have, I'd be happy. But that thought gives away your power. It places your happiness and success in the hands of circumstances outside of you. Taking responsibility means accepting that your progress is up to you, that your competition is internal, not external. This mindset, championed by many great modern thinkers, suggests that meaning in life comes from the struggle of self-improvement, from carrying the weight of your own obligations and goals and seeing them through. Embracing responsibility might sound serious, but it is actually uplifting. It means you have the ability to improve your situation step by step. You are not at the mercy of where others stand. You are in charge of where you stand. For example, if you find yourself envying a friend's successful business, use that as a signal, not to sulk, but to act. What can you do? Perhaps start by improving your own work habits, or daring to begin the project you've been postponing. Maybe you could seek mentorship or learn a new skill that will propel you forward. These are actions within your control. By doing them, you convert envy into purpose. Every challenge you take on, every bit of adversity you face and overcome, adds meaning to your life and strength to your character. Remember, the journey of personal growth is not always glamorous. Often it's about doing very ordinary small things consistently. Getting up early to exercise, practicing kindness when it's easier to be bitter, studying while others are relaxing, or saving money when others are spending. These choices might not get applause from anyone else, but they are like laying one brick at a time to build a solid house. Over time, as you lay bricks day by day, you realize you've built something substantial: a career, a skill set, a healthy body, a strong mind, a good character. Those bricks of daily responsibility and effort create a structure you can be proud to call your life. And here's the beautiful irony. When you commit to your own path like this, you stop worrying so much about what others are doing, and often you end up achieving more than you ever would have by constantly comparing yourself. You find contentment because your satisfaction comes from within, from knowing you gave your best to become the best you can be. Resisting the temptation of envy. Let's be honest, even when we know all this, the temptation to compare can still creep in. We might hear of an old friend's accomplishments or see someone who just seems to have it all and feel that pang of envy or inferiority. When that happens, pause and remind yourself of two things. First, their success does not diminish yours. Life is not a zero-sum game where one person's win is another's loss. There isn't a fixed quota of happiness or achievement in the world. Another person's accomplishments do not take away from what you can accomplish. Your friend getting a promotion doesn't mean you can't get one in your own time. Someone else finding love doesn't mean you are less worthy of love. Their story is theirs. Yours is still unwritten and full of potential. Second, refocus on gratitude and growth. Instead of letting envy fester, think of something you are grateful for in your own life. It could be as simple as your health, a skill you've learned, a small victory you had recently, or even the effort you're putting into improving yourself. Gratitude redirects your mind to what is good and abundant, rather than what is lacking. Then think of one small step you can take today to move forward on your own goals. This shifts your energy from comparison to action. For instance, if you're feeling envious that someone ran a marathon, use that moment to inspire yourself to put on your running shoes and jog around the block, or sign up for a fitness class. If you're envying someone's career progress, take an hour to update your resume or learn a new skill for your job. These responses put the power back in your hands. You can't control that other person's journey, but you absolutely can control your next step on your own journey. Your journey is your own. Conclusion. In closing, remember that your journey is your own, and it's unlike anyone else's. Life is not a single timeline where everyone must hit the same milestones. Some people achieve things early, others later. Some take a winding path, others a straight shot. Every path has its own challenges and its own timing. What matters is that you are moving forward on yours. If you focus on being just a little better today than you were yesterday, you will keep moving in the right direction. And if you keep your eyes on your own road, you'll notice more of the beautiful scenery in your life rather than feeling lost in the shadow of someone else's travels. Ask yourself as you go forward from today, what is one thing I can do to grow, to improve, or to fulfill more of my potential? It could be something small. Whatever it is, commit to it. That is your race. That is your path to walk. When you direct your energy toward that, you won't have the time or the envy to worry about how others are doing. You'll be too busy making your own life rich and meaningful. So the next time you catch yourself thinking, am I good enough compared to them? Take a deep breath and change the question. Instead ask, am I a little better than I was before? Am I learning, growing, and doing my personal best? If you can say yes to that, even in part, then you are on the right track. Keep going, run your own race at your own pace. Tend to your own garden and watch it bloom. In the end, the only person you need to be better than is the person you were yesterday. If you remember that, you will not only free yourself from the burden of comparison, but you will also unlock the joy and potential that come from living your own unique life.